Honorable members, I've got two communications to make. The first one is an update on reconstitution of lapsed committees. I've been notified by the leader of the majority party and the leader of the minority party that the committee on selection is yet to conclude the nomination of members to the lapsed committees. Further, the leaders note that consultations are ongoing and will be concluded soon to allow for the reconstitution of the specified committees. Honorable members, noting that the budget policy statement, PBS, and the medium-term debt strategy, which was laid on the table of the House on Thursday, 13th February 2025, has specified timelines, I direct that awaiting the reconstitution of committees, the BPS be processed by the liaison committee, similarly noting that the supplementary estimates 2 for the 2024-2025 financial year have just been laid on the table of the House. I also refer the same to the liaison committee for processing. I thank you. Second communication, honorable members, is to notify the House of the demise of 2 members of Parliament, a senator and a member of the National Assembly, the member for Malava constituency, the Honorable Moses Malulu Injendi, and the senator for Baringo, the Honorable William Kipkiror Cheptumo. Honorable members, it's with immense sorrow that I hereby notify members of the National Assembly and the entire Parliament fraternity of the untimely demise of 2 of our colleagues, one in the National Assembly and the other in the Senate. First, honorable members, I report with a heavy heart the passing on of the member for Malava constituency, the Honorable Moses Malulu Injendi MP, which occurred yesterday, Monday, 17th February 2025, while he was undergoing treatment at the Aga Khan Hospital in Nairobi. The late Honorable Injendi was born on 9th October 1966 in Lugusi village, Malava constituency. He began his education at Lugusi Primary School in 1974 and completed there in 1981. Thereafter, he joined St. Ignatius Mukumu Boys High School in 1982 and completed his O-levels there in 1985. He proceeded to St. Peter's Mumias Boys High School for his A-levels and completed in 1987. He later joined Egerton University for his undergraduate studies, graduating in 1991 with a Bachelor of Arts, Economics and Sociology. His passion for education pushed him to further his studies and attained a Master of Arts Sociology degree from the University of Nairobi in 1996. At the time of his demise, he was pursuing a Doctor of Philosophy at the Nelson Mandela Metropolitan University in the Republic of South Africa. The late Honorable Injendi has a vast career in life, having worked at the Catholic University of Eastern Africa from 2001 as a deputy registrar and later as a lecturer. As an educationist, the late Injendi championed education reforms and dedicated his time to serve as a chairperson and member of boards of governors of various schools, including Lugusi Secondary School. The late Injendi joined elective politics in 2013 when he successfully vied for and won the parliamentary seat as a member for Malava constituency of the Maendeleo Democratic Party MDP ticket, a seat he retained for 3 consecutive terms. Until his untimely demise, he was serving his 3rd term in Parliament and was the vice chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Education, where he played a critical role in the formulation of policies to improve the education sector. He was also a member of the Committee on Parliamentary Broadcasting and the Library, where he contributed to the committee's work in its report on enhancing reporting of parliamentary business on online platforms. The report was adopted by this House in September 2024 and is being progressively implemented. The late Honorable Injendi will also be remembered for his contributions in supporting reforms in the sugar sector, including supporting the enactment of the Sugar Act 2024. In the 12th Parliament, the Honorable Injendi also served in the Departmental Committee on Education and Research, the Departmental Committee on Labor and Social Welfare, Transport, Public Works and Housing, and the Committee on Regional Integration. In his first stint, which was the 11th Parliament, the late Injendi, was a member of the Departmental Committee on Education, Research and Technology, and the Joint Committee on National Cohesion and Equal Opportunity. His diligent contribution towards the fulfillment of the mandates of the committees in which he served since 2013 was immense. The late Injendi was a dedicated and selfless leader who had passion for reforms in education and other aspects of social welfare. Of note was his passion for the welfare of village elders. Having been raised by a father who served as a village elder, the late Injendi always wished for structured integration of village elders in the national government administration with appropriate remunerations. Consequently, honorable members, when he finally got the platform on the floor of this House, as a member in the 11th Parliament, the late Injendi actualized his desire by introducing a motion on recognition of compensation of village elders, which was adopted by the House in 2016. The motion urged the government to facilitate village elders with a monthly honorarium to facilitate them meet their logistical costs and encourage them to uphold their dedication to serving the community. Later on in 13th Parliament, he escalated the motion to a bill by sponsoring the National Government Coordination Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 25 of 2023, so as to give the motion the force of law. The bill, which seeks to recognize village elders who perform national government function at the village level administrative units, is currently awaiting consideration at the Committee of the Whole House. In honor of his persistent vision of creating a framework for recognition of village elders in the national government administration hierarchies, I urge the House to prioritize the bill for enactment into law. Honorable members, besides his legislative role, the late Honorable Injendi was a devout Catholic and an active member of the Catholic Members of Parliament caucus since he joined Parliament. The late Injendi was proud of his Catholic faith and was always visibly wearing his rosary at all times. Indeed, in the year 2023, he requested and received a special rosary rite from the Vatican, blessed by the Pope Francis. The late Honorable Injendi was unique for his rule of thumb practice of always connecting his faith with legislative work. He is reported to have always sought to understand the biblical and Catholic foundational teachings on all matters that were before the House for consideration to inform his position and contribution of them. Honorable members, in the passing on of Injendi, a humble leader who served his constituents and the nation with unwavering dedication and integrity, has rested. On behalf of the Parliamentary Service Commission, all members and staff of the National Assembly, and indeed on my own behalf, I convey our heartfelt condolences to the family of the late Honorable Injendi, his relatives, friends, and the people of Malava constituents. As the National Assembly, we assure them of our support during this period of great sorrow. Honorable members, I also wish to report with profound sorrow the untimely demise of one of our colleagues in the Senate, the Honorable William Kipkiror Cheptumo MP, who was the Senator for Baringo County. The late William Cheptumo passed away on Saturday, 16th February 2025, while receiving treatment at the Nairobi Hospital. The late Senator William Cheptumo was born on 25th December 1967 in Baringo County. He attended Maregut Primary School before joining Bartolimo Secondary School and later Cabernet High School for his O-level and A-level. Thereafter, he pursued a Bachelor of Laws degree at the University of Nairobi from 1988 to 1991 and a postgraduate diploma in law at the Kenya School of Law in 1992, prior to his admission to the bar as an advocate of the High Court of Kenya. Senator Cheptumo began his legal career as a legal officer at the Industrial and Commercial Development Corporation, ICDC, in 1993 and left ICDC in 1995. He then joined the Central Bank of Kenya as a legal officer in 1995 and left in 1998 to establish his own firm, Cheptumo and Kamban Advocates, which he ran from 1998 to 2007. During this time, he gained vast experience on practicing law, establishing himself as an astute advocate. The late Senator Cheptumo ventured into politics in 2007 when he successfully contested for the Baringo North constituency parliamentary seat on the Orange Democratic Movement ODM party ticket. During his first term of parliament between 2008 and 2013, I had the privilege of working alongside him in the executive when he served as the Assistant Minister for Justice, National Cohesion, and Constitutional Affairs while I held the Foreign Affairs portfolio as the Minister. Senator Cheptumo not only demonstrated exceptional dedication and a deep understanding of legal matters, but also applied his legal knowledge in the running of government affairs under his charge. The late Senator Cheptumo was re-elected for a second term in 2013 in the 11th Parliament. He served as the chairperson of the Committee on Delegated Legislation, a member of the House Business Committee, and a member of the Departmental Committee on Justice and Legal Affairs. Additionally, he was a member of the Parliamentary Pensions Management Committee. As the chairperson of the Committee on Delegated Legislation, the late Senator Cheptumo will be remembered for superintending the consideration of many statutory instruments that were necessary to operationalize the acts of Parliament that were enacted to actualize the 2010 Constitution. The late Senator Cheptumo was once again re-elected to represent Baringo North constituency in the 12th Parliament, making him one of the longest-serving members of this House. He served as the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Justice and Legal Affairs, where his legal and immense parliamentary expertise were instrumental in guiding key legislative processes and the consideration of policies that were referred to his committee. In 2002, honorable members, the late Senator Cheptumo successfully contested for the Baringo County Senate seat. Until his demise, he was serving as the chairperson of the Senate Standing Committee on National Security, Defense, and Foreign Relations. Additionally, he was an active member of the Senate Liaison Committee, the Senate Standing Committee on Justice, Legal Affairs and Human Rights Committee, and Land, Environment, and Natural Resources. He was a member of the Ad Hoc Committee on the Proliferation of Religious Organizations and the Circumstances leading to the deaths of more than 95 people in Shakahola in Kilifi County. Honorable members, in his passing on, Parliament and indeed the country has lost a transformative servant leader. On behalf of the National Assembly, the Parliamentary Service Commission, and indeed on my own behalf, I pay tribute to Senator William Cheptumo and extend our deepest condolences to his family and the people of Baringo County. His death is a big loss to Parliament, to the people of Baringo County, and the nation at large, which he served with dedication and humility. Honorable members, condolence books have been opened both at the National Assembly and the Senate receptions, main Parliament buildings, where honorable members and parliamentary staff may record their condolence messages to the families of the departed members from Malava and the Senator for Baringo, respectively. In line with the Parliamentary Service Commission's bereavement policy, I have constituted an ad hoc funeral committee to help with the funeral arrangements. The committee comprises of the following members in relation to Honorable Malulu Injendi: Honorable Bernard Shinal MP as the chairperson, Honorable Julius Meli CBS MP, Honorable Emmanuel Wangu CBS MP, and Honorable Ellis Muhanda. I have also requested the Speaker of the Senate to nominate 2 senators to the ad hoc committee. I have also appointed the following members to work with our Senate colleagues in coordinating Parliament's involvement in the funeral arrangement for the late Senator William Cheptumo: the Honorable T.J. Kajwang CBS MP, the Honorable Joseph McClap MP, the Honorable Florence Jematia MP. Honorable members are therefore encouraged to liaise with the ad hoc committees on matters relating to the funeral and interment of our departed colleagues. In connection with the passing on of the Vice Chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Education of this House, I also wish to inform the House of the demise of another educationist in the country, Mr. Johnson Matheka Nzioka, the National Chairperson of the Kenya Primary Schools Heads Association, KEPSHA. The late Mr. Nzioka, who was also the head teacher of Donholm Primary School in Nairobi City County, succumbed to his injuries he sustained in a road accident that occurred on Sunday, 16 February 2025 in Athi River along Nairobi-Mombasa Road. The late Mr. Nzioka, who is a long-serving and distinguished educationist with a career spanning over 39 years, holds a bachelor's degree in education from East African University and a diploma in education management from the Kenya Institute of Education Management, KEMI. In these very many years as a career teacher, he has been a head teacher for 24 years. He has made immense contribution to the education sector in various capacities, including, as I've mentioned, a head teacher for 24 years and a member of various councils such as the Kenya Institute of Curriculum Development, the Education Task Force, the International Confederation of Principals, and the National Examination Appeals Tribunal. In recognition of his dedication and exceptional service to primary education, he was recognized and awarded the Head of State Commendation HSC in 2021. Honorable members, in honor of our departed colleagues, the Honorable Moses Malulu Injendi, MP, and the Honorable Senator William Kipkiror Cheptumo MP, and the KEPSHA Chairman, I request that we all stand and observe a moment of silence. May their souls rest in eternal peace. Amen. Honorable members, I put this communication to come after the other orders because many members asked me to give them an opportunity to eulogize their colleagues. I'll allocate 1 hour to this from now to 4:15, and each member who gets an opportunity will have a maximum of 2 minutes. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, allow me to join you in condoling with the families of the late Cheptumo and the late Malulu Injendi. Honorable Speaker, I happen to have joined this House at the same time with the two members in the 11th Parliament, and I can attest to what you have said in your communication, that the two honorable members, the Senator for Baringo and the member for Malava, are indeed very dedicated public servants and leaders in their respective constituencies. Honorable Cheptumo, Honorable Speaker, when he represented Baringo North and served in this House, serving all the way as the chair of the Delegated Legislation Committee.
Order. This is a solemn moment where we have lost two of your colleagues at the same time. I would expect that you give it the solemnity that it deserves. Go on, Majority Leader.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I was saying Honorable Cheptumo served also as a member and later chair of the Delegated Legislation Committee, and served with a lot of diligence as a chair of that committee, and those who were in the 12th Parliament with us, we remember the dedication with which the Honorable Cheptumo served this House as chair of the Delegated Legislation Committee, considering numerous regulations for approval in the House, and did so with a lot of intellect. Honorable Cheptumo, Honorable Speaker, happened to be a very good lawyer. And I was privileged, Honorable Speaker, to learn later after I served with him here that he had also worked with my wife, who was then working in the bank, and Cheptumo happened to be in one of the panels for that bank. And my wife attested when we finally met at some point somewhere together with Honorable Cheptumo. She attested how diligent Honorable Cheptumo was in conveyancing and how much even those who worked in the bank trusted the work of the late Honorable Cheptumo. And is indeed a great loss, not just to his family, to the people of Baringo County, especially the people of Baringo North, whom he represented in this House for 2 terms as their member of parliament, but also the greater people of Baringo, who he served as their senator. It is sad that we have lost him at a time when the people of Baringo needed him the most. Honorable Speaker, I was privileged to have served with the Honorable Malulu Injendi from the 11th Parliament, when we first joined this house together. And Malulu, the late Malulu, Honorable Speaker, again is a leader who exemplified himself as a servant, true servant of the people, and a true believer. Honorable Speaker, many members will bear me witness that the late Malulu never left his rosary wherever he went. And those who have served with the late Malulu in this house, those of the Catholic faith, will remember that Malulu Injendi at all times had his rosary with him. And many of us nicknamed him Bishop. And indeed, where he used to sit, just behind where the Honorable Ikana is seated, he had a permanent position there. And every time as we walked out, we would say hi to him and call him Bishop. And he's indeed a great loss, not just to the people of Malava, his family, but to us as a nation. The late Malulu Injendi was not just a true believer, but also a dedicated educationist. As a former teacher, he moved on to serve as our vice chair of the education committee, and the chair of the education committee will tell you the dedication.
Thank you, Majority Leader. Junet.
Mr. Speaker, I stand to condole with the family of the departed members of Parliament, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I am known to Honorable Injendi Malulu, Mr. Speaker. We came in the 11th Parliament, I think, together to this Parliament, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, he was a very dedicated servant of the people and somebody who had spent most of his time in his constituency, Mr. Speaker. He was rarely in Nairobi, Mr. Speaker. Any time he had in his hand, Mr. Speaker, the member spent with his constituents, Mr. Speaker. And Mr. Speaker is a man who knew what he was doing. Because, Mr. Speaker, the love Honorable Injendi Malulu had for his constituents, Mr. Speaker, was immeasurable. I remember during the elections, Mr. Speaker, we were campaigning and we had a candidate as a party against him, Mr. Speaker. But when we visited the constituency, we were told categorically that the most popular person in this constituency is Malulu Injendi, Mr. Speaker, as an individual. You know, on whichever party he contests. That is the information we were given on the ground. So, Mr. Speaker, I would like to ask God to stand with his people, Mr. Speaker, at this trying moment. And Honorable Cheptumo, Mr. Speaker, also, we were together with him in this house. He was a very dedicated servant, Mr. Speaker, of the people. He was in the Justice and Legal Affairs Committee, and we benefited as a house, Mr. Speaker, immensely from his knowledge of the Constitution and the law, Mr. Speaker. I served with him in Parliament, served with him in the House Business Committee, and Mr. Speaker, those are servants of people who have left us, Mr. Speaker, at a time when Kenyans really require their service, Mr. Speaker. With those few remarks, Mr. Speaker, I condole with the family, and may God rest their souls in peace, Mr. Speaker.
Meli.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Thank you. Honorable Speaker, I want to take this time to condole with the family of our 2 honorable colleagues, Honorable Cheptumo and Honorable Moses Malulu Injendi. Honorable Speaker, we came to this house with Honorable Malulu Injendi in 2013, and as my colleagues have said, he was a very humble, very diligent, very honest, very religious, and a good educationist. I served with him in the 11th Parliament as a member of the Committee of Education, where we were led ably by Honorable Sabina Chege. During that time, Honorable Malulu Injendi gave us his mind on educational issues, ranging from the primary school education all the way to university. Honorable Malulu Injendi, Honorable Speaker and members, he was a man who actually loved his constituents a lot. He didn't fail to go to his constituency every weekend, every month. And at all times, he served these people with a lot of diligence and integrity. He was a man who really built many schools, many colleges, and many institutions in his place. Honorable Cheptumo is a senior member in this house. He mentored us. We found him. He was a member of Baringo North from 2007 all the way to 2013 when he came in. As young legislators, Cheptumo took us with a lot of humility and taught us parliamentary legislative processes as a member of the delegated committee and also as a member of several other committees. We learned a lot from the two members. May the good Lord rest their souls in eternal peace. Asante sana. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to pay tribute to the Honorable Malulu Injendi, Moses MP Malava, Kakamega County. Mr. Speaker, Mr. Malulu has been a good friend, very close and a relative, Mr. Speaker, a man of humility, down to earth, Mr. Speaker. Being a relative, Mr. Speaker, despite the age group, Mr. Speaker, Malulu has always called me uncle since he's married from my clan, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I and Mr. Malulu in political trajectory took the same path in 2017, Mr. Speaker, when we found ourselves in corridors of justice, Mr. Speaker, defending election petitions, Mr. Speaker, in the High Court in Kakamega. Despite that, we also won, both of us, and Mr. Speaker, at 2022, Mr. Speaker, we are re-elected the third time, Mr. Speaker, with the Malulu Injendi. Mr. Speaker, Mr. Malulu Injendi, the MP Malava, has transformed education in Malava, both infrastructure and learning, Mr. Speaker, in Malava constituency. Mr. Speaker, I wish to take this chance, Mr. Speaker, on my own behalf and on behalf of people of Ikolomani and Kakamega County, to eulogize with the family and pass my condolences to the people of Kakamega for losing such a leader, Malava constituency. Mr. Speaker, also losing a committed leader who has transformed and left a legacy in Malava constituency, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I've had the privilege of interacting with Mr. and Ms. Cheptumo as legal practitioners long before he joined politics, Mr. Speaker. And I found him as a brilliant legal practitioner who was down to earth. I also had the privilege of being with him in Parliament from 2007 as a representative of the people of Baringo North, and then later on, right now, he was serving as a senator. Mr. Speaker, death is a must. We as a Muslim, we always say, كُلُّ نَفْسٍ ذَائِقَةُ الْمَوْتِ. Every soul shall test death. It's a must. It's only the owner who gives and who knows when to take away. And therefore, all of us must be ready to submit to the will of God when we live, so that when we go down, we'll be welcomed in the bounties of heaven, Mr. Speaker. I know Mr. Cheptumo will be missed by many friends. Mr. Speaker, I have also interacted with Mr. Injendi and found him a man who was carrying the rosary. In my culture, Mr. Speaker, when you see a man or a woman of God always blessed with a rosary, it's a sign of forgiveness. It's a sign of atonement. It's a sign of asking, look, you always appreciate the omnipresence of God around you. And I know truly in Mr. Injendi and Mr. Cheptumo, the people they have represented will greatly miss them. But Mr. Speaker, the only thing that we can do, I want to urge you, as our head here, to give them a dignified and decent send-off. That is the only way we can also remain true to the service they have offered to their respective electorate. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Sabina Chege. Sergeant, can you check the system is malfunctioning? Sabina Chege.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want to offer my condolences to the people of Malava on behalf of Honorable Injendi and also the people of Baringo County. Mr. Speaker, board members have worked with them, and I worked with Honorable Injendi on 11th Parliament, where I chaired the Committee on Education. He was one of the greatest supporters who contributed immensely in education. Mr. Injendi, Honorable Injendi, was also a lecturer and a person who also loved the Catholic faith. We will all remember him wearing his crucifix, and he was a very humble man. Mr. Speaker, Mr. Cheptumo, I also served with him at the 12th Parliament, and also when now he was a senator. And I would also want to pass my condolences to the people of Baringo County and also his family. And I just want to say one word, Mr. Speaker, that as leaders we should know that life is not permanent. As we make decisions, as we work together here in the House, let us not carry heavy burdens, and let us serve the people, because God has appointed us at a time like this and nobody knows about tomorrow. So to the people of Baringo and Malulu constituency, I personally wish them God's grace at this time. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Maklap.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Let me join you in paying tribute to our late Senator William Kipkiror Cheptumo, who passed on 16th. Mr. Speaker, first I want to endorse that whatever you read, Mr. Speaker, is a true position and life of Honorable William Cheptumo, our Senator and our immediate former Member of Parliament of Baringo North, a man that I took over from in 2022. Mr. Speaker, I want to make it known that Senator Cheptumo is not only Senator of Baringo, he was actually my maternal uncle. So, Mr. Speaker, I have lost a jomba in myself. A man that is fast in many things. Mr. Speaker, Honorable Cheptumo went to school too late. Those of us, Mr. Speaker, who are not born in hospital and who lived in rural areas, Mr. Speaker, went to school too late. You could see, Mr. Speaker, Cheptumo written 57 years ago. Mr. Speaker, the true position is not 57. We always choose the date of Christmas when Jesus was born as our birthday for those of us who are not born in hospital, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, this man did a good job in Baringo North, Mr. Speaker, and I have made, Mr. Speaker, give me an extra minute, and I have ensured, Mr. Speaker, that whatever Cheptumo started in Baringo North, we are able to complete, Mr. Speaker, within the shortest time possible. Mr. Speaker, because of no time, Mr. Speaker, I wish to also inform members that Honorable Cheptumo shall be laid to rest in his home in Bartabwa on 1st of March, Mr. Speaker, and there will be a requiem mass on. Allow me just on 27, Mr. Speaker, there will be a requiem mass in AIC Mlimani for our late Senator William Cheptumo, Mr. Speaker, and I've also known Mr. Injendi as my registrar in Catholic University of Eastern Africa, Mr. Speaker, where I started double mathematics, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, may their souls rest in peace, Mr. Speaker, and thank you.
Nabi Nabwera.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to condole with the families of Cheptumo and Honorable Malulu Injendi. Mr. Speaker, Honorable Malulu Injendi and I share so many things. Our mothers are angled in the same home. Honorable Injendi and I belong to the same circumcision age set, Vachuma. Injendi and I were in school at the same time. While he was in Mumias, I was in Musingu High School. I've known Injendi for well over 30 years. Honorable Injendi was not just a friend, a relative, but also a barometer for many things. When I wanted to check something that I thought I wanted to contribute on, I would speak to Honorable Injendi. On behalf of the caucus, Western Parliamentary Group Caucus, and on behalf of the people of Lugari, I want to send my sincere condolences to the family, to the children, and to the people of Malava. Honorable Speaker, you remember you gave me an assignment with Honorable Wangwe to be the caretaker of Honorable Injendi when he was in hospital all this long. It's a journey that Honorable Speaker was very difficult for Honorable Wangwe and I. We saw him sick. We saw him rising up. Honorable Speaker, thank you.
Yes, wind up.
We've seen him lose the battle. It has not been easy. And I want to thank you, the Speaker, and everyone else who joined us in this journey. I condole with the family.
Betsimba. Honorable Betsimba.
Asante sana Mheshimiwa Spika. Pia mimi nisimame kwa niaba ya eneo bunge la Kisauni kusema pole kwa ndugu jamaa na marafiki na eneo bunge la Malava kwa kifo cha Mheshimiwa Injendi. Mheshimiwa Injendi alikuwa anaishi na watu vizuri, na kitu anayohitaji sasa ni maombi. Kikubwa anachohitaji ni maombi. Tumuombe Mungu amsamehe madhambi yake, amweke katika watu wema mahala pema. Pia hii ni ishara kwamba unakumbushwa kwamba hii dunia unapita. Kwa hivyo unalohitajika hapa katika dunia hii ni kufanya mema. Hayo ndio yatakwenda kusaidia mbele. Kifo hakijali mtu mzima wala mtoto wala cheo chochote, wala una uhakika kuishi dakika 2 kutoka sasa. Kwa hivyo hii ni moja katika pia wale ambao bado wako hai wajue kwamba iko safari ambayo wanakwenda, na kikubwa ni ufanye mema, na sisi sasa tulopewa jukumu tuwe tunafanya mazuri yale ambao wanasaidia wale watu ambao wametuchagua. Asante sana Mheshimiwa Speaker.
Tematia.
Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker. I also want to take this opportunity to condone with the people of Baringo and people of Malaba. People of Malaba for the loss of our colleagues, Senator Cheptumo from Baringo and Honorable Injendi. Mr. Speaker, Baringo has lost a great leader in Cheptumo, because Cheptumo served this house for 15 years, and I must say the biggest gap that Cheptumo created in this loss is the counsel that he gives us as young leaders and the continuous fight on insecurity in Baringo. And we want to say thank you to all members who have helped us through. We are still mourning as Baringo County, and I also want to say we will miss him so much, and Cheptumo will live, his life is going to live more. And for Injendi and family, I want to send my condolences. I knew Injendi because he was one of my voters when I was going to East Africa, and also being a colleague for these last 2 years. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Waluke.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me chance also to contribute on the 2 leaders, the 2 members of Parliament whom we have lost. Honorable Speaker, I know and I knew all the 2 members that have worked with them, Honorable Injendi and the Honorable Cheptumo. Honorable Speaker, I knew Cheptumo from 2007. I've interacted with him for a very long time, and we met in this house, the 11th Parliament, and he was a very able and honest, hard-working leader. Honorable Speaker, Honorable Injendi was a very strong member, very honest, and people of Malava, I want to say pole to them. Honorable Speaker, he was a very strong member of the caucus,
Western Regional Caucus. He was a very good advisor of us, Honorable Speaker. We are going to miss them. I used to crack jokes with him, Honorable Speaker, wherever we meet with Honorable Injendi, calling him the Bishop of the Catholic Church, Honorable Speaker. And he was a very jovial member of Parliament, Honorable Speaker. No one in this House, Honorable Speaker, can complain and say that maybe Injendi was rough. We are going to miss Honorable Injendi and Honorable Cheptumo. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Makali Mulu.
Thank you so much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, on my own behalf and the behalf of the good people of Kitui Central, I want to convey my deepest condolences to the two families, the family of Honorable Injendi Malulu and the family of Senator Cheptumo. Honorable Speaker, I had a chance to work with these two honorable members for 2 terms, for the Cheptumo, and 3 terms with the Honorable Injendi. And Honorable Speaker, these 2 honorable members have been very serious with their work, and I'm very sure that the people who have been voting for them will miss them in a big way. So even as Honorable Speaker, we send our sympathies to the people who have been voting for them, Honorable Speaker. My prayer to the Almighty God is that they are so rest in eternal peace. Amen, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to pay tribute to 2 great people. Honorable Injendi Malulu, whom I first met when I came here to Parliament. And I know that one of the most important things that I remember about him, was that he was kind and very amiable. He was a gentleman. And so when I arrived in Parliament, I felt like I was fish out of water, but he was one of the people who made me comfortable. He was always polite and kind. He always gave you way when you walked on the corridors or when people were crushing you on the corridors. And most importantly, when he wanted to speak, he requested with such humility and grace despite being very senior. As for Honorable Senator Cheptumo, he was my classmate at the University of Nairobi Law School. And I remember he also stood out because he was sober, calm, and very wise. And once I asked somebody, why does he behave like my father? Then I later was told, and he told me himself, that he had joined school at a very later age. So he was nicer than all the other men at the university, was very polite, was like a father to you. And most importantly, when all the young men in first year were chasing after girls, Cheptumo was focused on studying and was always telling the others not to behave like that. We will always remember our 2 colleagues.
Were they chasing girls or seducing girls?
Coaching them. But I stand here today to condole on behalf of the people of Uasin Gishu County with both the families, and may God rest their souls in eternal peace. Amen.
Mishimbogo.
This one. Asante Mheshimiwa Spika. Mheshimiwa Spika, kwa hakika ni pigo kubwa sana katika taifa letu la Kenya na pia katika mabunge yetu mawili. Kupoteza viongozi mashujaa wetu wawili. Mheshimiwa Spika, Mheshimiwa Cheptumo ambaye ni seneta, alikuwa seneta wa Baringo, alikuwa kiongozi mwenye busara sana. Alikuwa kiongozi mwadilifu, na hata wakati alipokuwa akichangia katika bunge hili la kitaifa, katika miswada na katika hoja, ungemwangalia ungejua huyu ni kiongozi ambaye anajielewa na anajua kwa nini yako katika bunge hili la kitaifa. Mheshimiwa huyu amefanya mchango mkubwa sana hata kule nyanjani. Tumezungumza na watu wengi sana kutoka sehemu za Baringo, na hivi sasa ni pengo kubwa sana ambalo liko pale. Lakini kwa niaba ya watu wa Likoni nasema poleni sana. Mwenyezi Mungu apatie familia faraja na apatie taifa la Kenya faraja. Kwa ndugu yetu Malulu Injendi, pia alikuwa kiongozi mwadilifu, kiongozi shupavu. Ukiangalia katika Kakamega, ilikuwa ni sehemu ambayo ni pahali ambapo chama cha chungwa kimebobea, lakini yeye angeweza kuchaguliwa akiwa katika chama cha UDA. Kwa hivyo ni kumaanisha alikuwa ni kiongozi ambaye anatenda mema na anafanya mambo zaidi, haswa katika mambo ya miradi. Ni mheshimiwa ambaye alikuwa mpole, hata ukimuona utamuona tu mwenyewe amevaa ule msalaba wake, nikijua kwamba yeye alikuwa Mkatoliki. Kwa hivyo taifa hili la Kenya na mabunge yetu tumepoteza viongozi shupavu, viongozi ambao michango yao, haswa Malulu katika elimu, alichangia pahali pakubwa sana, na mheshimiwa Cheptumo amechangia sana katika zile kamati alizokuwa, hata ile kamati ya masuala ya kisheria. Kwa hivyo
Mishi, time yake imekwisha. Ferdinand.
Mr. Speaker, on my behalf and the behalf of the people from Kwanza and Trans Nzoia, I want to take this opportunity to say, to send my condolence to my brother Moses Injendi, because he even came to my place in 2019 and helped me do some fundraising. He was a very dedicated man. We always met at the church down here. It's a Catholic, and there was a devoted Catholic church follower. You can see he had also always having a rosary. And we have missed somebody who was very intelligent. When he came to education matters, he would offer very good advice. And therefore, I want to take this opportunity to say pole to the family. And of course, William Cheptumo also, we came together here 2013, and he was a very dedicated contributor to most of the issues in this house. And therefore, people in Baringo, I think, have missed a very intelligent person, and therefore also take this opportunity to send my personal condolence to the family of Honorable William Cheptumo. And I want to take this opportunity also to say we have missed very important people, and therefore may the Lord actually place them in the internal of His. Thank you.
Thank you, Naisula.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise also to pass my sincere condolences to the families, relatives, friends, and also the constituents of Honorable Malulu Injendi of Malala constituency, and also Honorable William Cheptumo of the Senator of Baringo County. I was privileged to work with the two gentlemen, Mr. Speaker. Honorable Injendi, I was the chairperson of the Regional Integration Committee in the 12th Parliament, Mr. Speaker. And later, I also served under Honorable Cheptumo when he was the chairman of JLAC. I must say that this country and their constituents have lost very dedicated legislatures in this house, Mr. Speaker. And I must say that there are some of the people who worked in silence. They were never noisemakers. They used to work silently in their areas where they've been elected. They had clean politics, Mr. Speaker, based on issues. And also in the committees, I saw both gentlemen very dedicated, Mr. Speaker. And so it is not only their families who have lost, and it is not only the people who elected them, but the entire country, Mr. Speaker, have lost two great gentlemen, Mr. Speaker. And I must say that in your condoling with their families, Mr. Speaker, you gave a true tribute of who the two gentlemen were, Mr. Speaker, and in them we shall dearly miss them, and we will also remember and learn a lot from their leadership, Mr. Speaker. May their souls rest in eternal peace.
Thank you, John Makali.
Give me the mic. Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for the opportunity. Let me take this opportunity, Honorable Speaker, on my own behalf and on behalf of the great people of Kandui constituency to eulogize the late Honorable Malulu Injendi. Honorable Malulu Injendi was a true representative of the people. He was a man who actually never shied away from his faith. Honorable Malulu Injendi was our senior, and he was my neighbor here in Parliament. We could consult at very, very short notice. Honorable Malulu Injendi was a real humble man, was an icon of humility. And the only thing we can be able to do, Honorable Speaker, as we send off Honorable Malulu Injendi, is to remember what he adeptly stood for. He adeptly stood for passing legislation to assist the village managers and the village elders so they can also be able to get some money arising from the service they give to our people. So as we eulogize and send off Honorable Malulu Injendi, honorable members, we must send a gift to Honorable Malulu wherever he goes by passing the legislation which he adeptly pushed for in this house. He also contributed immensely in the education sector, and this house is poorer by the passing on of the Honorable Malulu Injendi. I take this opportunity to say pole sana to the people of Malava and say may he go in peace. And as we eulogize also the Honorable Baringo Senator, we wish to say that I never had an opportunity to work with him, but from the records held in this particular house and in the Senate, he was such a very sharp and fine legal mind. May the people of Baringo also be consoled due to the loss of the Honorable Cheptumo. May their souls rest in eternal peace.
Murugara. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. So, Speaker, allow me, on behalf of the people of Tharaka constituency, Tharaka Nithi County, and my own behalf, to condole with all the primary school teachers for having lost their chairman, Mr. Nzioka, a great guy who served the teachers very diligently. Allow me also to condole with the people of Malava for the loss of one great gentleman by the name Moses Injendi, who actually we would describe as a gentleman par excellence, because nobody in this house would say they crossed paths with Honorable Malulu Injendi. He served so well, he was so humble, he was so amiable and humane in everything he did. This is a great loss to the people of Malava, and we condole with them. Allow me also to condole with the people of Baringo County for having lost one of my best friends, Honorable Cheptumo. Cheptumo, we crossed paths in A level as he studied in Kabarnet High School and I was in Kabarak. We would occasionally meet for debates, and those debates were very fruitful. We then entered the University of Nairobi in 1988 and shared a class with him and also the Deputy Speaker of the House, the Honorable Gladys Boss. Let me disclaim that I was not in that class of those young men she has described. I was in the class of Cheptumo. We were quite serious in studies, and Cheptumo actually did very well. Eventually, we were admitted as advocates, and we practiced law with him. When I came to the house for the tour of the parliament, I served under Honorable Cheptumo when he was the chairperson of the jail. Wangwe.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, on behalf of the great people of Navaholo, on behalf of myself, Honorable Speaker, too, and the Catholic fraternity, Honorable Speaker, allow me to pass a message of condolence to the family, friends, and relatives of the late Honorable Malulu Injendi. Honorable Speaker, I share religion with Mheshimiwa Injendi. I also share family issues with Mheshimiwa Injendi, Honorable Speaker. His wife and my wife happen to be sisters. And Honorable Speaker, when I was called upon to be with him at his hour of need in hospital, I felt being together with my brother. And indeed, I saw, Honorable Speaker, the dark times of Mheshimiwa Malulu, and also when he has rested, Honorable Speaker. I want also to thank the Parliamentary Service Commission, Honorable Speaker, for the good work they did for us up to yesterday. It was immense, they persevered, and Honorable Speaker, it cannot go without appreciating them for their input. Honorable Speaker, I worked here very well with Mheshimiwa Malulu as a person who understood the people of Malava, whom I neighbor with. As a neighbor, we were very good. We worked together. And Honorable Speaker, the greatest moment I wish to remember Mheshimiwa Malulu is in 2017, Honorable Speaker, when the entire region, Honorable Speaker, was in court. But we came through a very difficult time and held each other's hand and went through as Jubilee MPs. That was a moment, and Honorable Speaker, much time we used to do was to sit with him and he would pray for us. Honorable Speaker, on the issue of Honorable Cheptumo, allow me to really wish the people of Baringo that indeed Honorable Cheptumo, I served with him twice in the 11th Parliament and 12th Parliament. And Honorable Speaker, many a times we used to refer to him as a working dictionary because it was a working constitution, Honorable Speaker, because whenever the Speaker and then the Honorable Muturi could want to raise an issue of constitutionalism, he was there to help interpret the Constitution of.
Thank you, Rachel Nyamai.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. On behalf of the people of Kitui South and on my own behalf, Honorable Speaker, I would like to join you and the House in condoling with our two colleagues, the Honorable Malulu Injendi and the Honorable Cheptumo. Honorable Speaker, it is a very sad moment for all of us to lose two great gentlemen who have served in this House. Honorable Speaker, I have served with the two of them in the 11th Parliament, in the 12th Parliament, and also in the 13th Parliament with the Honorable Malulu Injendi, and also with the Honorable Cheptumo, who, as much as he was in the Senate, he would cross over on this side and consult us. Mr. Speaker, as other members have said, the Honorable Malulu Injendi is a very respectful person, a person who was committed to his constituents, to his family, very humble and God-loving. Honorable Speaker, it is hard to forget the position where the Honorable Malulu Injendi sat, and when he wanted to speak, Honorable Speaker, for the opportunity that you give us to sit there, he is very respectful and he always walked to that seat with a lot of respect. Honorable Speaker, the Honorable Malulu's contribution to education in his constituency, in this House, and also in the country is worth noting. Honorable Speaker, I remember that when we were dealing with the sugar bill, the Honorable Malulu Injendi participated immensely, passionately for his people. Honorable Speaker, I take this opportunity to condole with him and his family and ask God to keep him in a safe place which he worked for hard. Honorable Speaker, give me a chance to say a word about the Honorable Cheptumo. I have interacted with the Honorable Cheptumo in this House. We served together in the 12th Parliament in the liaison committee when I chaired lands, and he was also in delegation.
Rachel imekwisha. Lelmengit.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I want to join the team, the National Assembly team, in eulogizing the lives of Senator William Cheptumo, the Baringo Senator, and also Honorable Malulu Injendi. It is a great loss, Honorable Speaker, for this country and the people of those constituencies and counties that the two represent. I have known them as very mature leaders in this House, especially with institutional memory. Every time, Honorable Speaker, the like of Malulu Injendi, he will normally sit along the way while we enter this House, Mr. Speaker. It is very difficult to pass him before saying hi to him and also getting one or two wise statements from or wise words from him, Honorable Speaker. I sat with Malulu Injendi in the Committee for Parliamentary Broadcasting and Library Services, and he had a lot of immense contribution during our committee sessions. Also, Honorable Speaker, Senator Cheptumo has been more like a counselor, a leader with a lot of experience. We've shared a lot with him while he was still alive. So, Honorable Speaker, I want to join hands with this House in mourning their lives and also to condole with the people of where these two leaders come from, the people of Baringo and also the people of Malava. Finally, Honorable Mr. Speaker, I also want to pass my condolences to the former chair of KEPSHA, John Nzioka, for his loss. I want to tell all the leadership of the primary school heads that we are very sorry for their loss. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Nilemba.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. On behalf of myself, the people of Muhaya, the now dissolving ANC party and the UDA party, let me take this opportunity to condole with the families of one Johnson Zioka, a teacher of repute who was the chairman of KEPSHA. KEPSHA is the Kenya Primary Schools Association, a professional body that actually voices the professionalism of teachers. On behalf of myself and the groups I've mentioned, my condolences to the family of the late Johnson Zioka, an educationist and a vast person. Let me also condole with the family of the late Baringo Senator William Cheptumo. Cheptumo carved his place as a unique legislator when he was here. He was the kind of legislators whom, when he stood up to speak, the whole house somewhat would just go quiet and listen to his explanation, especially on constitution and constitutionalism and things that related to law. And he's a great guy with great respect and a mentor of many of us. Finally, Honorable Speaker, the demise of Honorable Malulu Injendi is in itself a memento mori. That actually sounds a warning to all of us who are in Parliament and those who are not in Parliament, that death is definite and it's coming for us. Because a few days ago he was just seated there and all the time catching your eye to express his views on education and other matters. But there he's gone, a very calm legislator. Injendi was a legislator who knew how to get to the people minus the political parties. Though a member of the NC party, which have been the Secretary General, Injendi could have still made it on any political party. And no wonder, in your eulogy, you indicate him as having come on a party that was little known, even when he had been denied the famous ticket.
Yeah, Mayaka.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, let me also take this opportunity to condole with the families of our two colleagues, the Honorable William Cheptumo from the Senate of Baringo and the Honorable Injendi, the MP for Malava. I would like to pass my apologies on behalf of the people of Nyamira and on my own behalf. And Honorable Speaker, secondly, I would also like to pay special tribute to Mwalimu Johnson Zioka, because, Honorable Speaker, Mwalimu Johnson Zioka actually taught me in Donholm Primary in class 5 for maths, and he was also the head teacher for our school before I left. He has been the head teacher there for more than 24 years, and I'd just like to send a special tribute to his family, to all the teachers of KEPSHA and the community and families of Donholm Primary, because that is a community primary in Embakasi East, and so I pass my sincere condolences to all three. I thank you.
Waliobaki mchukue dakika moja moja. We have a few minutes to go. Bensuda, 1 minute only.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I would also like to pass my condolences to our honorable members who passed on. And this is a moment that we need to be prayerful because we know what the family is undergoing. Mr. Speaker, I would want to say that I sat in the Committee of Education for 3 days only with Honorable Malulu. He was always prompt and early enough for the meeting. His contribution was amazing. Honorable Speaker, I thank you and appreciate that you've set aside already a committee that will look into their befitting send-off. I want to pray that everything will be done accordingly and prudently, so that during the time of the Requiem Mass, the parliamentarians should go there in solidarity. As women, we feel the large gap that their spouses are now undergoing. And as this parliament or this house, when we go to give the last respect, we should take and establish if there are students or their children who are still going on with their education. And so I stand that something should be done as a legacy for their contribution in these houses. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And on behalf of Mutembei County, on behalf
MP Westlands.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I wish also to condole with the families of Honorable Cheptumo and Honorable Injendi. Mr. Speaker, Honorable Cheptumo, I served with him in the 11th Parliament, in the same committee of delegated legislation. He was my chair, and he was a very, very intelligent man, committed, and provided leadership, and we did a lot of work with him. Honorable Speaker, I also want to pass my condolences to the family of Honorable Malulu Injendi, a man that we came to this parliament at the same time. He served with him, we were serving with him in the current parliament, the same committee of broadcasting and library. And also we are members of the CAMC, the Catholic Members of Parliament caucus. And he is a very, very honorable man, and he has...
Time up, Ikana. You have only 1 minute, so...
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. On behalf of my constituents, the great people of Shinyalu, and myself, I wish to extend my sincere condolences to the families of our departed colleagues. Mr. Speaker, I want to confirm that the tribute you read about the Honorable Malulu Injendi was accurate 100%. Honorable Malulu Injendi was very passionate about his people of Malava. He served them even when he was very sick in the hospital. And this can be confirmed by the fact that he was able to push for the tarmacking of the Malava-Samithi Navakholo Road, even when he was very, very critically sick. Mr. Speaker, personally, I owe to a great deal and extent my election to this parliament to the support I received from Honorable Malulu Injendi. Having been my teammate in Kenya Kwanza, we did joint rallies, we campaigned together, and he guided me, enabling me to tap into his...
Dan Wanyama.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I want to condole with the families of our departed colleagues, but more importantly, with the Honorable Malulu Injendi. He's one person I've known since our childhood, because I went to school with him at St. Peter's, and at some point I was his class prefect in Form 5 and Form 6. And I know Honorable Malulu as a very truthful and a sincere person. I know the family will lose him, the people of Malava will lose him, but all the same, let his soul rest in peace. I thank you.
Thank you. Katana?
Okay. Asante Bwana Spika, nataka nijiunge na wenzangu kutoa rambirambi kwa niaba ya wakazi wa Kaloleni kwa Senator Cheptumo na Mheshimiwa Injendi. Bwana Spika, Mheshimiwa Injendi amekuwa akitetea sana mambo ya elimu. Na pia Injendi tumekuwa tukienda kanisa moja. Yeye ni Mkatoliki na mimi ni Mkatoliki, na kila siku ya Jumatano Bwana Spika tulikuwa tunaenda kanisani na Bwana Injendi. Tunaiombea roho yake iweze kulala mahali pema peponi. Asante.
Tongoyo.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, and want to also join the rest of members who had already spoken to pass my condolences to the two great leaders and their families. And Honorable Speaker, it's true that both leaders are great leaders and committed servants of the people of this nation. And I was so privileged to also having interacted closely with both of them. Honorable Speaker, Injendi Malulu, as has been said by the rest of members, is a very committed leader, man of the people, and a down-to-earth leader. More importantly, Honorable Speaker, you had mentioned, rightfully mentioned, that this man was so passionate about the issue of the village elders, and he sponsored a bill that on national government administration bill that had intended to look into the welfare of the village elders, to have them recognized in law and being remunerated. And Honorable Speaker,
Bukose, dakika moja tu.
Honorable Speaker, I worked with Honorable Cheptumo when I worked in Baringo as a doctor, and also when we joined Parliament here in 2013. He's a gentleman and is somebody whom you can be able to consult, and he will be able to give you advice. Honorable Speaker, about a month ago I met him and I looked at his health, which was actually not doing well. And I want to join the people of Baringo and the people of also Malava in mourning both Honorable Senator Cheptumo and Honorable Malulu Injendi, who in this house we joined together in 2013, and he's been somebody who has been a gentleman and a committed servant to his people and also to the house in general. May their souls rest in eternal peace.
Oundo, Katana, switch off your mic.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. On behalf of the people of Nyola constituency, let me send my sincere condolence to our two departed colleagues. Honorable Speaker, I served Honorable Injendi since I joined the other term, and Honorable Injendi visited my constituency sometimes in November after the demise of his fund accounts manager. And we shared a lot, and it was a shock to learn that he was unwell, and it was even more shocking to learn that he passed on. Honorable Speaker, on his bill about the village elders, Honorable Speaker, we were involved, and unfortunately he was asked, and that's what Honorable Tongo wanted to raise, he was asked to drop it, awaiting a comprehensive review. I hope in his honor, Honorable Tongoi, you will ensure to conclude that process. And with those full remarks, I wish them, I wish the family these hard times. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Emase.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I also arise to pay tribute on my own behalf and on behalf of the great people of Teso South to the bereaved families of our two departed colleagues. Honorable Speaker, I'm privileged to have served with both Honorable Cheptumo and Honorable Injendi in the 11th Parliament and then this 13th Parliament. And it is so sad, it's a sad week for Parliament. Honorable Injendi, we sat on this same row and I'd consult him on issues of bills to do with education, motions, and he also consulted me on issues budget. But Honorable Speaker, the two gentlemen were very humble and dedicated to serving their constituents. And their contributions will be greatly missed by us, their families, and the country at large. At this point, Honorable Speaker, I just want to pray for the bereaved families, the widows, the children, including even the chair of Kepsha, who just lost his life in a road accident on behalf of the teacher.
Mwea, Maingi, member from where?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to condole with the people of Malava. I first met the late Honorable Injendi at Catholic University when he was a registrar and where I studied for my MBA. Mr. Honorable Injendi was a kind-hearted member. He was compassionate, he was caring, he was selfless, he was respected, and he was so uplifting. I was surprised again when I joined this parliament to meet the Honorable Malulu Injendi.
Yes.
And he was also pleasantly surprised. He was a member of our Catholic Members Association, and he was a diligent member, very dedicated person. He was one.
Thank you, Ngaleche.
Thank you so much, Honorable Speaker. On behalf of the people of Elgeyo Marakwet and myself, I wish also to convey my condolence to the departed members. Honorable Injendi was a person known to me, and where we interacted and bonded with the Injendi is because we are members of KAMSI. And I can say the Catholic members of Parliament have lost a very dedicated member. Honorable Cheptumo, nonetheless, was a ranking member and he was an advisor, especially from our community, whereby most of the members of Parliament are young. We always could go to Cheptumo for advice, and he could always give us direction and give us advices. I pray that may their souls rest in eternal peace. Thank you.
Africa.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. On behalf of Roysambu people from Nairobi County, Mr. Speaker, allow me also to convey my heartfelt condolences to the two bereaved families, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, we heard about the sickness of Malulu Injendi when you gave his apology at Naivasha retreat. May their soul rest in peace. Thank you.
Thank you. Members, we're coming to an end. I'll give, wow. We want to go to something else. Nyakundi, let's see how many are still interested. Many. Nyakundi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I also want to take this opportunity to convey my heartfelt condolences on my own behalf and the people of Kitutu Church North to the families that have departed. Honorable Malulu Injendi is one person who was very soft-spoken, good-hearted, and a very simple man. I remember him for always having his rosary on the neck, and we want to convey our sincere condolences. To Honorable Cheptumo, we say pole sana. These two people on, as the UDA party and the Kenya Kwanza coalition, we have lost people of dignity, and we pray and hope that may their souls rest in eternal peace. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Chikati.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. As the Secretary General of the Catholic Members Caucus, I would say we have really lost someone who added value to the work of the Catholic MPs. Malulu Injendi was very committed in serving Kenyans and was having networks across board. He also belonged to the Western Caucus, through which he mobilized the resources for the people of Malaba. Mr. Speaker, on behalf of the people of Tongaren and the Ford Kenya Party, I want to say pole to the families and may their souls rest in peace.
Kericho. Kericho Women Rep.
Okay, thank you, Honorable Speaker. I want to join the members of Parliament to pass message of condolence to the families of our honorable members, Honorable Senator Cheptumo and Honorable Moses Malulu. Honorable Speaker, we have actually lost great legislators, great professionals, great leaders. Honorable Cheptumo being a senator, and from our region, he was a very humble person. He gave great and wise counsel to us, and this is a great loss. I pray that the family will be actually comforted. Honorable Malulu, Honorable Speaker, supported the sugarcane farmers. And coming from a region where we have sugarcane, I know we have lost him, but I believe great improvement in the sugar industry, he was part of it, Honorable Speaker.
Aseka.
Thank you, Speaker. I also join my colleagues in eulogizing our departed colleagues. Mr. Speaker, Honorable Malulu Injendi, Member of Parliament for Malava, will be remembered as a champion of education in his constituency. He has really supported vulnerable students to access basic education. He has put up infrastructure in schools. He has been a champion of our regional unity, and he has been also a champion of sugarcane farmers. On my behalf, of that family, of my family, and of the great people of Quisero, Honorable Speaker, we condone and wish the family well as they mourn this departed hero. Thank you, sir. Speaker.
The very last, Naomi Wako.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I stand to add my voice to the condolences that our colleagues have already given. And Honorable Speaker, it is a very sad week, and I'm sure the families are very much affected. Both the family of Honorable Injendi and Cheptumo. Honorable Speaker, I have known both of them from the 12th Parliament, and all of them are very dedicated, passionate leaders, great legislators, and people who have always been visionary enough to lead their people. And it is a sad moment for us, and especially the UDA fraternity, and our prayer is with them, and it is my prayer that the Lord will comfort the loved ones and the entire Parliament together with our leadership. Thank you. May their soul rest in peace.
Thank you, members. We'll end up there. For those who have not been able to get a chance, enjoy